another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host,
Charles Glidden. Coming up next, we take a look back in time for a little Cayman history. Later in the show, we learn about our Royal Cayman Islands Police Service Scholarship for those interested in police leadership. Loxley Banks joins me to chat about those who built Cayman, and I talk fashion with Norma Ebanks. Talk Today's next. Stay with me.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Talk Today. I'm Charles Glidden. Thank you for making me a part of your afternoon. Everyone looking forward to the long weekend, huh? Yeah. Some of us are looking forward to, the National Heroes Day celebration, which is what the holiday is all about. Celebration and awards to those who, made a contribution to Cayman. Especially the physical infrastructure. That's the focus this year. Lots of pomp and circumstance going on down at Hero Square downtown, so I know a lot of people will be headed down there. Uniform services on parade, all kinds of ceremonial things going on. And Radio Cayman, of course, will be covering it live. We do have a very early caller, so let's go straight to the phone line and see what's on their mind. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Oh, good afternoon, man.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. I was looking at that wall on the Grand Hyatt this morning.
Uh-huh.
That wall they have out front. In some states in the United States, you would see that same wall. And that same wall is, I don't know if it's how it looked now. Pedro Castle a long time ago. I know we went Pedro Castle. But I've seen that same wall at Pedro Castle. All through the Caribbean, you see that wall.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was told by an American that in the States they call them slave walls. Those walls were built by slaves.
Slave walls.
Yep.
And we have some slave walls here in Cayman, right?
Yeah, of course. When you look at Cardinal Avenue on Coke Freeport building there, you would see it. That was done by a mason co-worker of mine, one of the best I ever seen in Cayman Islands. Come from Jamaica. That's really done. really good. You understand?
Yeah.
But I've seen those walls in Jamaica. I've seen them St. Lucia, Grenada, Martinique, all through the Caribbean. I guess those walls are. 'Cause slavery, you know.
Yeah.
That's what they say. Slave walls. So. But I like it. I like it, especially this one down there. And I'm quite sure they tie them together with some steel inside of them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That in case of an earthquake or anything like that. You know what I mean? I'm quite sure of that, man.
Yeah, we've heard some people complain about it. That it's too close to the road and that sort of thing.
I hope those people would try to look back at the history, you know. And maybe they wouldn't complain if they knew the history, how it go. Because the slaves was in Cayman too, not for them.
Oh, yeah.
All right, my friend.
We didn't escape that. All right, thanks for the call.
Yeah, man. All right.
Well,
this is Loxley now.
okay, later on in the show, he'll be joining me. Yesterday, I mentioned of the concern expressed by the Deputy Governor, the Honorable Franz Manderson, during his appearance at the Public Accounts Committee proceedings. His concern was about the possibility of living conditions deteriorating in Cuba due to Venezuela no longer supplying Cuba with oil following the American military action in Venezuela, which resulted in the apparent U.S. control of Venezuela's oil. So there is concern that Cuba will have a shortage of oil and things are going to get even worse in Cuba. The deputy governor was very concerned about the possibility of a surge in Cuban migration due to this deterioration of living conditions and Cayman having to possibly deal with an influx of Cubans fleeing Cuba in search of a better life. I mean, he spoke, if I remember correctly, in terms of thousands, and was concerned about what such an influx of economic migrants would do to Cayman, having had the experience of the 1994 surge of refugees or economic migrants, use whatever term you want. But so in their story about this, CNS had a link, which I clicked on, and it took me to Governor Michael Gore's report. Remember Governor Gore? Well, the link took me to Governor Gore's report to, well, I guess it's to the Foreign Commonwealth Office. It starts off, "Dear Sir," and it's the report is titled "The Cayman Islands Annual Review for 1994." And it was interesting to read not only about what actually was happening with that Cuban migrant crisis, but seeing some of the other things of concern, you know, at that time, 1994. That's, 31 years, 32 years? But it certainly gives insight into why the deputy governor has this concern, and the fact that a team is now working on a contingency plan in the event that there is a surge of Cuban migrants. Governor Gore writes, first thing, number one, was one event overshadowed all others in the Cayman Islands during 1994. This was the unprecedented influx of Cuban migrants into the islands over a 3-week period in August through September, which wrought havoc with the administration and resulted in an anticipated budget surplus being turned into a deficit. That's the effect that having to deal with that situation had. Number two, it says the year began well. The economy was buoyant, and the islanders, that's us, were enthusiastically preparing for the return visit in February of Her Majesty the Queen and His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh. 3. The efforts which the Cayman Islands Civil Service, the Royal Cayman Islands Police, the politicians, and the hundreds of ordinary people of all ages and from all walks of life put into the visit was remarkable. I had expected the older people to rejoice in the visit and for the younger to be somewhat indifferent. But this was not the case. Everyone was clearly delighted that their queen had decided to revisit the islands. The trappings of the United States may be evident in the Cayman Islands, but there remains a close affinity for Britain. Highlight of the visit was undoubtedly the knighting in the main square of the first Caymanian to be so honored. Of course, that was Sir Vassal, right? Number 4, tourism boomed during the year, with hotels reporting 85% occupancy, even during what used to be considered the dead season of July and August. The newly passed mutual funds law was attracting much new business for the financial sector. Cayman Airways was reporting a small profit, and it looked as if the islands would enjoy another bumper year until President Clinton announced in August that America would no longer accept Cuban refugees into the country automatically reached the shores, and once President Castro lifted the ban on Cubans leaving Cuba, the resulting exodus following the Havana riots of 5th of August caused the Americans great embarrassment, but was disastrous for the Cayman Islands. Disastrous for the Cayman Islands. Within a period of 4 weeks, 1,183 Cubans landed on Cayman Brac, the closest of the 3 islands of Cuba. They came in fishing smacks, whatever that is, tiny boats with dilapidated outboard engines, inflatables, and the odd raft with patched inner tubes for flotation. With no facilities for them on the Brac, they had to be flown to Grand Cayman, where the tented facility built in 1993 to accommodate at most 150 Cubans for a few days while they rested and prepared their boats to sail on to the United States had to be expanded to accommodate them. Public Works Department, the Social Services Department, Police and Immigration Service performed near miracles expanding the camp and providing the necessary facilities expanding the camp. A screening process was set in motion under the guidance of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, and with the help of 6 immigration officers seconded from Britain. By the end of the year, 41 had been screened as genuine refugees. The remainder were classified as economic migrants and were thus not eligible to be accepted as refugees. So they still had over 1,100 people to deal with as economic immigrants. It was only as a result of the greatest effort over several months by the senior staff at the British Embassy in Washington and 2 delegations from Cayman that in early December we finally received a grudging acceptance of the problem we faced. The Americans agreed that any Cubans who went voluntarily from the Cayman Islands to Guantanamo would be treated in the same way as those already there. They would thus be eligible to participate in the humanitarian parole program under which the Americans are taking families with children, the elderly, and the sick directly to Florida. This agreement only came after the Cubans in Tent City, who were becoming increasingly agitated at having no news about their future, had threatened to riot, and I, Governor Gore, I had to bring out 2 public service units from the Metropolitan Police to back up my small force. It appears that the Cayman Islands government will have to pay for those police, which costing an estimated $400,000 US, and added to what the government has already had to spend on looking after the Cubans, will bring the total cost of the whole operation to about $3 million for the year, an enormous slice of this small economy. Unfortunately, Guantanamo has gained a reputation for being far less comfortable than Tent City in Grand Cayman, and we are having difficulty in persuading the Cubans to take up this offer. A handful have opted to return to Cuba, but at the end of the year, we still had about 1,100 Cubans at Tent City. What has impressed me about this whole affair has been the way in which the Caymanians have responded to the crisis. A few, of course, have said the Cubans should be sent straight back to Cuba, as Cayman cannot afford to look after them, but the majority by far have shown great compassion and generosity towards them. Families go to Tent City daily to talk with those they have befriended. Food and other gifts have poured into the camp, and over Christmas, several hundred were invited out to private homes for a traditional Christmas meal, which here in Cayman is roast beef. I guess that's what he calls it. One of the ministers entertained 25 Cubans to a barbecue, and many families had 10 or 12 of them for Christmas. This aspect has been both touching and impressive, but I am concerned that as the problem continues, generosity will turn to resentment at what the Cubans are costing Cayman. Hopefully a fair proportion will take up the American offer and go to Guantanamo early in the new year, but even this will cost Cayman, for the American government will charge the Cayman Islands government $10 per Cuban per day for as long as they are at Guantanamo. And here's an interesting close and a familiar concern that has often been expressed right here in this show. Finally, as in my last annual review, I will end on a note which is of particular interest and concern to me. Development continues at a pace and may well be detrimental to the long-term interest of the islands, with 2 new 5-star hotels approved during the year. However, concern for the environment is evident and widely voiced. 1994, the then Governor Gore, expressing concern about overdevelopment. We're still talking about that, right? And we're off to a good start for the year, and here we are doing contingency plans for a possible surge in Cuban migrants landing on our shore. History repeating itself. We're going to take a break. Be right back.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Heroes Day is here, and Lee Classique is celebrating with heroic savings. It's the Step Like a Hero sale, 2 days only, January 23rd and 24th. All shoes reduced by 20 to 40% off. Yes, every pair. Step into 2026 with style. Honor Cayman's heroes and enjoy deals that are truly legendary. Lee Classique Step Like a Hero sale, January 23rd and 24th. 2 days only. Walk proud, walk Caymanian. Open 11 to 7, located in the Strand Shopping Center.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Yes, what is on your mind? Pick up the phone, give me a call, and we can chat about just about anything. But, interesting that concerns were being expressed about overdevelopment back in 1994. The report was actually submitted in 1995, January, but still, certain people saw things that concerned them about how we were going about our development. And even today, we still hear it. So, I mean, has anything been learnt, or do we still really need, a plan? Where do we want to go? Or do we just keep pouring cement just about any place that somebody wants to build something? The West Bay Peninsula is getting filled up. It's hard to find an open piece of land, along West Bay Road these days. Interesting about this this review of 1994 by Governor Gore. There were actually redactions in there. Before this was put on the internet, and released for the internet, was some things that were, and boy, wouldn't you just like to peel back that magic marker and see what's behind there that was in the report that I guess somebody didn't think that should be on the internet, right? But yeah, history has a way of going in cycles, and here we are, off to a good start, I would say, for 2026. But you never know what the year holds, and I guess every administration faces some kind of crisis, or something that urgently must be attended to. But let's keep our fingers crossed, say a prayer that we don't have to be contending with 1,000, maybe a couple of thousand Cuban immigrants descending on the shores of Cayman Brac and Grand Cayman, because you saw what happened back there 31 years ago. What people thought were going to be a year for the government to have a surplus ended up in a deficit. Those kind of costs can mount real fast. They multiply, and the next thing you know, you're having to spend money that you never had any kind of allocation for. Interesting news in the community. More than half of the Health Services Authority board has resigned. We know they have been the subject of some controversy in recent times. They were getting paid per meeting, and we're having a lot of meetings. I'm sure they can tell us why all those meetings were justified. But they had a lot of meetings, and I said a while ago that costs can multiply. When they started multiplying that number of meetings by what they were getting for each meeting, it came to a good little hunk of change. And of course, after that was revealed, the ministry changed all of that up, and how board members were paid was changed to a fixed rate. just like your salary. Each month you got a certain amount of money. Whether that is behind this, I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But with half of the board being resigned, I mean, something is afoot here. A group of them have decided that they no longer want to be on the board for some reason. And so now the scramble is on to see if the government or the ministry can fill those board seats, because to something as important as the HSA, you have to have a functioning board. And if things get held up on certain things getting approved, that could be, detrimental to how things operate, I would imagine, because certain things have to go to a board for approval, and without a proper board in place, that's not going to happen. I think it's time for us to take another break, but hey, we got open line going here up until 1 o'clock, so you can pick up the phone, give me a call. I'll be right back.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Hey, new drivers, don't just drive smart. Cynical and Inspire Cayman's Safe Driver program will show you how. Get real-life simulator training and classroom sessions to help you gain experience, stay alert, and avoid accidents. Learn to recognize risk, manage fatigue, and make smart choices behind the wheel. Certified participants may even pay less for Cynical motor insurance. Learn more and register at cynical.ky. Cynical, keeping Cayman covered.
Heroes Day is here, and Lee Classique is celebrating with heroic savings. It's the Step Like a Hero sale, 2 days only, January 23rd and 24th. All shoes reduced by 20 to 40% off. Yes, every pair. Step into 2026 with style. Honor Cayman's heroes and enjoy deals that are truly legendary. Lee Classique Step Like a Hero sale, January 23rd and 24th. 2 days only. Walk proud, walk Caymanian. Open 11 to 7, located in the Strand Shopping Center.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and we do have a phone call waiting there. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Good afternoon to you, Charlo.
Yes, how are you doing?
Can't complain from the old man. Oh, there are lots of people. But lately we've lost good friends and saddened right here in West Bay. But we carry on. I'm thankful that we are still above ground, as my old friend Henry Bush used to say whenever I asked him about main Bush. Above ground, make that above ground. It's interesting what you read there, Governor Gore, and of course you're in a sort of different situation now. Something that should have been done a long time ago about Venezuela, who allowed it to become almost another Cuba. We knew that was going to end, and Cayman should have had the foresight to know that. We used to deal a lot with Venezuela with oil and so forth. Some years ago, I remember very well. And The thing is this. Everyone ever asked how much the financial world made at that time in 1994. We talk about deficit of $10 million, a few $1 million, $5 million or something. How much they made, how much was taken in.
You mean Cayman's financial industry?
Banking and trust, this to that companies and so forth.
Here in Cayman?
In 94, yeah. I guess no mention of that was made.
No, you mean what you're talking about? What collectively all the financial services companies, firms made all together? No, I didn't see anything reference to that. No,
I imagine it was still in the billions. Yeah, this is the first time I got the 1-800 number to work.
Oh, really?
So I was telling you, remember, that I couldn't get any answer on it. The thing is this, those things are all relative because there's money coming in here, mostly from the United States, we know that, still as it is today. Big money is passing through here. We see the captive insurance is billions and billions of dollars and so forth and all that. And the ordinary person, of course, like myself, they don't really understand a lot about this and what's done with it and how it arrives here, what is being done with it. We see many of the people involved in handling those big monies have become millionaires overnight, millionaires. But that has a little bit to us. I'm going to say, yeah, ask yourselves at that time, the Cubans, and up to recently, being supplied with oil from Venezuela. And did anyone really stop to think how they paid for that oil with no money? The services of their, if you want to call them migrants or immigrants, or that, they're brilliant doctors, they're dedicated soldiers, dedicated to a cause, or have to show that they're dedicated to that communist cause. Send them over there to work, and that's how they paid for the oil. Pay for it. And,
you mean that Cuba would send doctors to Venezuela?
Of course.
Okay.
And sending many. And sending soldiers, as we saw with the invasion, the U.S., many were killed. And so forth. And security forces to help bolster that. It adds up to a lot of money that Venezuela would have had to spend with their economy dwindling because of millions of their people fleeing the country.
Sort of a barter.
Yes. Yes. So I don't think you'll see that. We can always anticipate and try to, alleviate it and try to see what we can do around it and so forth. But it's two very different presidents, from Cigar Bill to Clinton, Mr. Trump here now. And we know anyone with any bit of knowledge of the history of the U.S. and looking back on things that happened, we know this all started, of course, from President Kennedy's days until before, of course, with the Bay of Pigs invasion, etc., and so forth, with the Cuban migration to the States. But what poor President Carter failed to do in 1978, that has led to the terrible problem we have now in Iran. We had it then, 78, and have it now. I was turning our backs on our friend the Shah. And no one can deny that, what happened out of that. You see results. So sometimes action has to be taken to prevent things from occurring again. And one thing is for sure, I do not think you'll ever see another liberal president in the United States. Personal opinion, of course.
What do you think about this aspect of it, though, about that now that the U.S. is apparently controlling the oil in Venezuela, and if Cuba can't get that oil, then things are going to get really bad there, and people are going to be...
They'll get oil. They'll get oil. There are many refineries. Someone was asking about refineries in the Caribbean. I think there's a big one in St. Croix, is it? And there's another one on the Dutch islands too. But these guys who went to sea around here.
So what if they were going to send them doctors too? I mean,
they know that they. Well, I don't know. Maybe they will. The U.S. are allow more doctors out of Cuba. We never know because they have Marco Rubio there, close to the president, who has a close relationship with the Cubans, and we don't know what's going to happen. Canales won't stay there forever. Is that his name, President of Cuba? And he's not popular at all, as we all know. No communist is popular either around the world.
Communism has shown itself to be a failed system.
Yeah, but how many said that? We see China expanding because of weakness in the European leadership.
Well, the Chinese have a kind of hybrid.
Expanding. We know that the U.S.
For a communist country, they have a lot of capitalists.
Yes, that's how it is. Mr. Castro owned the largest private yacht in the world, the Christina. She's like one of the small passenger cruise ships from the old days, like Evangeline or so forth. I remember her from the late 50s, early 60s. And she was owned by the famous, what was his name again? Greek, Onassis. And Mr. Castro owned her as his own private. That's no secret. Information about her and ownership by Mr. Castro that it's in the Guinness Book of Records, so forth. That's the system, as you just rightly said, importantly, capitalist amongst the communists and so forth. But the expansion will be more or less limited now. We saw the weakness and still see it of the European leaders reluctant to try to arm their countries that they can protect their own countries, always depending on the U.S. sending billions, trillions of dollars over there and men over there. That's not going to continue. No, not under this president. It's not going to continue. He has made that known. They're not going to be sending men over there. They're not going to be sending that much military equipment anymore. They've got to try to defend themselves. And they're all upset with the issue he made about Denmark and Greenland and so forth. In reality, what has Denmark done for Greenland over the many years? I don't know if anyone can say anything significant. It's mostly the U.S. gone in there and built many things and scientific research going on. And
they got military bases there, too.
Yes, and to help the people there. And there have been air bases built here. And it's a huge, huge mass of land that is very essential for the Western world to protect, definitely to protect, and so forth. So that's going to go on. It's going to be a contentious point. But I don't think we're going to see any influx. They'll find a way to supply the Cubans with oil. Trust me, they will find a way. And they'll find a way to smooth this out. And we must more or less do our part and be, of course, ready and preparing ourselves for this. But we're trying to run a country, and it's very difficult. You heard Captain what's his name again, yesterday talking to you about the issue that I spoke of from the beginning with the health insurance problem. I spoke of it from 28 years ago and was implemented. That it can't work, it won't work, and it hasn't worked.
You mean our current health insurance scheme?
It's gone billions of dollars or millions, hundreds of millions could have been provided to government in small increments from people. Since it's mandatory, pays to the government. Everybody pays it.
Oh, you're talking about Peter Smith's
Captain Peter Schmidt.
Yeah, talking about a single payer system.
Yes, and that is what I said from the very beginning.
Yeah, it makes
Tell
sense.
the people the truth. Not a health tax. And the same thing would apply to the pensions too. Since it's mandatory, it should not be paid to private sector and private hands. Private hands are there to make money. The government is not there to really make money. It's there to provide for our people's best interests. And there's where it's at. A small increment of people's salary would go to that, and everyone would be covered automatically, just like they do in many, 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 many countries. And those who can afford it can have their private insurance and pay for schemes and so forth if they want to. But they still have to pay into that system. Very small increment into it, and it would work.
Yeah, and that $400 that they allow you for outpatient care, that's, if I remember...
It doesn't cover anything.
But it's been around since the beginning, hasn't it? And healthcare has gone up, but the $400 has remained $400.
Sort of, yeah. It used to be a little bit less some time ago. And,
was it?
But it was relative to the economy, I guess, and, the cost of living, the COL. But that is when you make something mandatory, you have to think very carefully. Something so important as people's health, people's education, pension, and so forth.
Well, Mick,
you cannot put it in the hands of the private sector.
Mickey,
that's all my point I'll make.
Guess what time it is?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me the time.
All right, always, man. Always.
Answers to that.
You take care.
Good.
It's 2:00. Time to check in with the newsroom.
If they are talking about us,
living in your head rent-free all this time,
we must be relevant. Radio Cayman since 1976. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
The Chamber of Commerce issues a, quote, clear and data-backed call for improved policy execution, stability, and accountability, following the presentations of its State of Business survey at today's Chamber of Commerce Economic Forum. Addressing business leaders, policymakers, and stakeholders, the Chamber emphasized that while Cayman's economy remains resilient, the cumulative impact of rising costs, policy uncertainty, and operational constraints are placing an increasing strain on businesses across all sectors. In international news, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says Donald Trump's remarks about British troops in Afghanistan are, quote, insulting and frankly appalling. U.S. President Donald Trump said NATO troops stayed, quote, a little off the front lines during the war in Afghanistan. The UK was among several allies to join the U.S. in Afghanistan in 2001 after it invoked NATO's collective security clause following the 9/11 terror attacks. 457 British service personnel were killed in the conflict. And former Olympic snowboarder Ryan Wedding was taken into custody by U.S. officials today after years on the run. He has allegedly been running and participating in a transnational drug trafficking operation and orchestrating multiple murders. His arrest ends a years-long search for a Canadian criminal who officials have compared to Pablo Escobar, a Colombian drug lord. U.S. officials have said they believe Wedding, one of the FBI's 10 most wanted, was living in Mexico under the Sinaloa drug cartel's protection. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
At HSA, we strive to provide the highest standard of care with compassion, integrity, and dedication. And so we say thank you, Cayman, for continuing to make us the most awarded organization on island by voting us the best of Cayman Islands in 9 medical categories. Your support reminds us why we do what we do, to serve the Cayman community with kindness and excellence. To find out more about our award-winning services, visit hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Holroy Eric Lorenzo Walton, born on August 13, 1936 in Bogasan, Cayman, was not only an avid artist and seaman, affectionately named Roy. He also made significant impacts in the construction industry, founding H&A Construction in 1972 and working on landmark projects. He was also a passionate educator, hosting free art classes for children and fostering creativity through an annual art competition at Spot Bay Primary School. Roy and his wife Anne were dedicated to preserving the heritage of the Sister Islands, designing the lighthouse statue at the Cayman Brac and Little Cayman's Seamen's Center. Roy's efforts in collecting and displaying seafaring history ensured that the stories of Caymanian seafarers would be passed down to future generations. His life's work continues to resonate with the community and beyond.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and a quick look at the weather here, the current conditions. It's 82 degrees here in Georgetown. It feels like 88, and the winds are out of the northeast at about 9 knots. Relative humidity 77%, and the forecast is calling for partly cloudy skies straight into tonight with winds out of the northeast 5 to 10 knots. And seas slight to moderate with wave heights running at 2 to 4 feet. Well, if you're looking for a scholarship and a career, listen up. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service is offering a scholarship for Caymanian students interested in police leadership. Joining me now to tell us more about this scholarship opportunity are Assistant Commissioner Rob Atkins and Detective Chief Inspector Wade Chase. Gentlemen, thank you for coming in. Good to have you here.
Hi, good afternoon.
Is this the first time that the police service has offered a scholarship like this?
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
So now this is not just for joining the force at the bottom, because where will they be attending if they're accepted?
Well, this is designed for, as you say, Caymanian students that are completing their studies at the moment. And the idea will be that we'll have for the people that are eligible, i.e. with the right qualifications, so we're looking for people that have got 3 A-level grades at C and above. So people interested would send an application in to us as an expression of interest. There'd be an interview in service to make sure people are suited for the policing career. The Department of Education bursary scheme would apply, and we've partnered with a university in the UK in Portsmouth University, and the reason we've partnered with them is they are really world-class leaders in delivering training for policing and law enforcement. And the aim would be that the candidates, when they're selected, will go and study in the UK. It's a 3-year course, and at the conclusion, if they're successful, would then come into the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service as a constable, and work within the communities here on the islands.
So, coming out of college, they're going to start at a constable level.
That's correct, yes. But we are designing a program so when those individuals come out, which will be 3 years' time, we can start thinking about how we track people into maybe some of the specialist departments. And of course, once they've got the experience on the ground here, look, eventually to, assist people with promotion if that's the way they want to go within the service.
How many scholarships are available?
Well, at the moment, I think we're looking for at least 3 people, and maybe up to 5, 6 people that meet the criteria.
So you said this is the first time. Is this all part of your general recruitment that is now going on?
No, that's absolutely correct. So we've got different pathways to come into policing. So this is just one of those. This will be our entry, eventually at 3 years at a graduate level for Caymanian young people to come into the service. We've also got what we'd call our general route into policing, which is our advert that we put out. We've got, in fact, a class starting on the 2nd of February, which we've just recruited. It's 18 Caymanian local recruits starting on that course, and we've got another intake plan for September. So we're just, we'll be going out for another advert for those individuals then, and then we've got another recruitment campaign for auxiliary constables, which is due to launch shortly.
Chief Inspector Chase, what would you say to anyone that has an interest in this about becoming a police officer?
I'd say that it's a really, really good opportunity. As Assistant Commissioner Atkins just said, we have several means to enter the police at this point in time, and this is definitely one that provides the opportunity for future. This provides the opportunity for the future, so that these officers would have different avenues in the organization by which they could work. From looking at the program itself, the program not only prepares you for entry-level police, but it also has different areas in policing that it goes through, be it investigations, interviewing, and many other areas in policing which would benefit you when you come in to the organization. In addition to that, our other route, which is the recruit, the local recruitment, which we go through. The program now is about 5.5 months, and that method of entry, we have where persons that are joining from school or from college or anything like that, their qualifications being 3 CXCs, and then entering through that method, go through the whole process, and then in the 6-month period, then they would join the ranks. There won't be any disadvantages in either way of joining the police, but both of them have their benefits once coming into the organization.
But no, I would think that someone who goes to university and studies police enforcement for 3 years are going to have a fast track to move up.
Yeah, so I think in both ways you're correct. I mean, when you look at the standard of education that these individuals will have when they finish the course, it's a really in-depth course, really advanced. So, but you still need the practical knowledge when you come out on the patrolling, working within the Cayman Islands. So when the individuals finish the course, and throughout the course they're going to be mentored by an officer from the service throughout the 3 years, because what we would see is they're in the UK, they'll be studying in their breaks, come back, do some work with the service, and at the conclusion of the course they would be appointed as constables, and then we normally have a probation period, so within that probation period we try and make that as diverse as we can, so officers get exposed and get the experience within the community. But that said, when you've got those skills, what you're going to find is you're going to be able to diversify within the service, whether that's into the CID or other specialist roles, and ultimately will be well equipped to take promotion.
I'm going to ask you all to put on your headphones there because we do have a caller on the line. So let's see if they have some questions about the scholarship. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hey, good afternoon to you, Charlo.
Yes.
Good afternoon to your guest there from the police service. I read a little bit about that program coming on, and let me just start by saying well done to our police commissioner and his senior team for coming up with that innovative approach to try to get, I would hope, targeted Caymanians into the service and certainly Caymanians into leadership positions of the service. That's important, I think, to every Caymanian for whatever reason. And so the questions that I have isn't meant to be a criticism, but it's meant to kind of understand the thinking behind it because I was trying to understand it. So I saw that there were two different criteria, and I couldn't understand why the police service was adding to the criteria if you need to get qualified to enter the university or the studying college or whatever it is in Portsmouth.
That's correct.
If they have their own criteria for entering, because it doesn't matter if you all, for all intents and purposes, agree to take somebody on board because you think they're the right fit, if they can't get into that college or training space. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what it is. So it kind of defeats it. So why would you all add additional layers to that particular process? And then to hear you clarify. So this is either for a rethink or for you to consider. Then to hear you just clarify with Mr. Charlo that they'll come back as a normal constable. So you have to think motivationally from the candidate standpoint, like what would motivate them to want to study for 3 more years and then come back as a general constable, which I understand the kind of politics of the police service, and it's not meant to say it in a derogatory way because like all organizations, you have to have some sort of formal training and all, certainly much more within the police service. And then there are also people who are on the ground who are hoping to get promoted as well. So I understand that dynamics, but just trying to understand if you're going to offer something really good with the view of, strengthening your leadership team, why make it more cantankerous, and why not look at making it motivational all the way through? So you come back, maybe not join as a junior member, but you're certainly on a fast track, like Charlo was alluding to trying to get them on board. I'm just trying to encourage you along those lines because maybe it wasn't thought about. I'm just listening to it and observing it. Thank you, man.
All right, let's get a reply. Thanks for the call.
Okay, no, thank you. It's a good point you raise, and I when you look at the Portsmouth course, as I said, it is world class, and there's numerous modules over the 3 years that are covered. And in the UK, actually, people study and then they come into British policing as a constable. But that said, the reason for that entry at constable is that so people can get the experience on the ground and put their learning into practical application in policing. We've got 3 years until those individuals come out, and in that time we'll be looking at different pathways, how we can maximise the use of those individuals. So, promotion actually is one avenue. But of course, there's lots of specialisms in the service, whether that's digital forensics, CID, roads policing. And quite often people will come and join the service with having achieved a degree like this and be very focused on one area. So again, that specialism is really important. So over that period, we will certainly be thinking about how we, stream, fast track people into different areas when they've got this qualification.
It sounds sort of like, you've gone to college, but you got to get your street cred first. Right?
Yeah.
You got to know what it is to walk into a bar where a big fight is going on.
Absolutely.
And deal with it, right?
If you took, maybe studying in the medical profession or teaching, you would go and get your degree, but you'd still go and work on the ground floor. And that's really important. And, the academic study, the practical parts of this course will really equip people well to do policing here. But we, like anything, as in 35 years of policing, you learn every day. So, you still need to keep on the coal front.
What kind of person are you looking for? I mean, not everybody's cut out to be a police officer. What kind of character are you looking for?
The main thing in terms of policing, as I said, is it's an awesome career. The main thing we're looking for are persons who are interested in this type of career. A person that of good character, because it does require a lot of you in terms of the company you keep and that kind of thing. But so your character is a big thing, and integrity is a massive thing in terms of policing, and the Commissioner of Police is always stressing on integrity as our main pillar for what we do. But some person that has the academic ability, to complete a course like this, and we will definitely be helping them through. We will just put them out there, as much support as possible from the organization perspective. We'll be there. As the head of training, there is, when a person from the stage, when persons apply, we at the Training and Development Unit are there to support them throughout this entire application process. And as I said, since that this is one of multiple avenues to come into the organization, I think that this one is an awesome initiative for persons who want to study abroad, want to see the world, want the opportunity to go to an overseas college, learn something different. You still got to do the same college credits and everything as you would do for any other degree, and prepare yourself. But then you're coming back into a job that you're actually looking forward to.
If you're successful in this, you come out with a Bachelor of Science. Right?
Definitely, yeah. You come up with a qualification, a world-class qualification, right?
And I think, going to Chief Inspector's point, what sort of people do we want? We want people that really care about their community, really want to make a difference to the safety, well-being of everyone on the Cayman Islands. And that is so key. Real passionate about doing the right thing. When we get called to, some really difficult things. My officers go to things that, you probably wouldn't want your family seeing. And we want people that are resilient, that are brave, that want to lock up the people that cause harm in society, safeguard the vulnerable, and have got real passion for that. And that's the sort of person that we really want to attract, both in this route and the other routes that we're recruiting.
What's the deadline for applying for this scholarship?
Well, the government, or the education department, I think it's the end of January, 31st of January, for their deadline. They've given us some grace, a few weeks to be able to get the applications in for policing. So we will be looking sort of mid-February to get everything together in order to be able to get everyone signed up for the course. So probably about the 20th of February.
So where should they make the initial contact?
Well, you initially contact the Training and Development Unit via email. That's tdu@rcips.ky, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. You can also call us directly at 649-2012, 649-2012, and someone there would definitely be happy to help you throughout this process.
Let's take another quick call here. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Glidden, and good afternoon to your guest. Let me say, first and foremost, I'm the daughter of a police officer, and I might add, the most senior local police officer our islands have ever had, okay? And back in his day, his thing was to hire locals. And I'm not saying this as a criticism, but like your other caller said, a critique. And I think we can all admit that our police force has continuously gone downhill. And since they're now doing this formal training, I hope some of the existing officers will have to do it as well. Because what we have now is an embarrassment. I hope that basic law is also going to be a part of the screening. The majority of the officers that they have, they can't even take a statement. Most of them can hardly read and write. They know nothing about the law. You call them out to an incident, which is a crime, and they will look at you and tell you that you need to go to a lawyer. Okay? So if everything has to be a civil matter, then what is the purpose of a police?
All right, let's get a reply to that. Thank you for the call.
Well, thank you. And, one of the things that we'll also be offering with this course is some of our existing officers to go on it, because we want to develop our future leaders. So that's really, really important. The work of the Training Development Unit and recruitment is to make sure we're building capacity and policing excellence with our existing workforce. So, we continue to strive with our training and development programs, and in fact testing. Officers are tested. Where we find officers have not done the right thing or need extra development, the team are very good at developing people. And of course, if officers don't meet the performance, ultimately there's ways that we can deal with that as well.
And this scholarship, the scholarships that you're offering, are aimed at Caymanians. They're for Caymanians, are right to be Caymanian.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Only Caymanians, yeah.
Yeah, and equally Caymanian existing police officers that we're looking to, as I say, this is the first year, so we're looking to start relatively small. But we hope at the end of the 3 years that we'll have a constant stream of people coming off this programme, which will build the service in terms of capability of the officers that we got.
So give us again the basic requirements for someone who is interested in this.
Okay. The basic requirements would be obviously to send the email to the email address that I would have provided, tdu@rcips.ky, and that's the first step. But the academic requirements would be a minimum of 3 C's at A level. That would be the initial aspect of it. To be Caymanian, or right to be Caymanian, and at least reach the age of 17 years or above. Those are the initial requirements. Clearly, there would be a few more that we would talk you through, but those are the initial stuff that we have to take a look at to see if you qualify right off the bat.
And right now you're also doing a general recruitment, right?
Yeah, so the first advert our communities will see at the end of January is for auxiliary constables. So that will be going out, and those officers undertake roles within, for example, our custody suite, looking after detainees, or work at Governor's House, or within our criminal justice process at the courts, etc. So that advert will be going out at the end of January, and then as I said, exciting. I'm really pleased. We've got 18 new Caymanian local officers starting on the 2nd of February from our previous campaign. And then we're going to have another recruit class in September. So that advert will be going out around April, May time, again, to attract people. So, it's going to be a busy year, and we're looking forward to bringing those new officers on board.
Now, in that call, the last call we heard there, and I've heard other people with the same thing, that officers, some come to a scene and can't take a statement. But certainly in your recruitment, they must have to pass some kind of entry test that shows that they have the ability to do these things.
Absolutely, and the test is pretty vigorous. And the training officers have, when they go through the initial training and continuation training after, again, is retesting those principles. So, I'm satisfied the training is robust and the selection is robust. So it may be that the officers that we're talking about here it might be a performance issue, and if as I say, if we pick those up again, we address those with training, supervision, interventions as well.
Well, yeah, as the ACP said, consistent training is key to consistent development throughout the organization. So we don't just recruit persons and leave them there. And when we do identify that there's an issue, we always welcome feedback through various means, be it directly to the station or through the professional standards unit. And once we get that feedback as a training and development unit, we work on that, put together courses and programs towards that. We have on staff a full-time detective trainer now who usually covers all investigative training, and he is qualified by the College of Policing. So we do carry out investigative training throughout the year, interview training, and these are things that are consistent, as well as leadership development training throughout the year as well. And that's one of the programs that we will be launching very soon, our City and Guilds leadership development program. We'll speak a bit more on that on another program, but there's several, as I said, there's several initiatives that are going on at this point in time.
And there is a concerted effort to recruit as many Caymanians into the service as possible?
Absolutely. I mean, that is a key priority of the Commissioner and the top team. Absolutely, because, who better to police the Cayman Islands than local people?
All right, so get those applications in. And, if you're interested in this scholarship, that's going to result, if you're successful, in a Bachelor of Science. Sounds like a fantastic opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
Assistant Commissioner Rob Atkins and Detective Chief Inspector Wade Chase, thank you for joining us here on Talk Today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Heroes Day is here, and Lee Classique is celebrating with heroic savings. It's the Step Like a Hero sale, 2 days only, January 23rd and 24th. All shoes reduced by 20 to 40% off. Yes, every pair. Step into 2026 with style, honor Cayman's heroes, and enjoy deals that are truly legendary. Lee Classique Step Like a Hero sale, January 23rd and 24th, 2 days only. Walk proud, walk Caymanian. Open 11 to 7, located in the Strand Shopping Center.
Sports. Stay up to date on your sports news with Radio Cayman Monday through Friday at 7 a.m., 6 p.m., and 10 p.m. It's all about sports.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. And it's 1:32 here on Talk Today. And, the long weekend is coming up. And the reason for that long weekend is that we are going to be celebrating our National Heroes Day. And this year, the focus is on those who have contributed to the building of the physical infrastructure of the Cayman Islands. And I've got my buddy here, Loxley Banks, who has a lot of historic things that he can always tell us about. And he's joining me in our control room here to give us some more insight into those who, especially in the earlier days, contributed to building Cayman's physical infrastructure. Loxley, how are you doing?
Well, fairly good, I guess you could say. This infrastructure thing, it's so vast and wide, When people come across our shores and look at what we got here, I don't think they really realize what it took to build a foundation for what we see before our eyes today.
Yeah, they don't realize the journey that we have been on.
Right, yeah, yes. And, I hope, I think if they learned more about it, there might be a little more benevolence to the turtles. Well, that's what they call us, turtles that pounded the grounds out here and sailed the seas and did whatever we had to do to lay the foundation and to, for a big part of it, nurtured it up to where it's at today with some help. We got to recognize that, but I don't think that what was built here originally has got the recognition that it should have. And this opportunity here on the weekend or Monday, I think will probably open a few people's eyes. I haven't seen, I don't know what's on the board, but hopefully that it'll be in an eye opener for lots of the folks there.
Well, when you stop and think about it and think back over the years, who are some of the people that come to your mind immediately as making contributions to the physical development?
And you hear it on the news. We got new service coming in from this place, aircraft, and how many? I guess they probably got 10, 15 flights in here a day now.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
More coming at sea.
Yeah, But think back at the beginning of that, and we got. It's actually about a 3-minute and 36-second, just a little excerpt from our archives. I guess it was probably first aired somewhere back in the, late 70s. It might not even been aired that, but it was, for sure, I know, aired in the 1999 Cayman Islands 20th Century Perspective. That was it was about a 5-hour program that we did looking back to the middle of the 18th century or the last part of the 17th century in some instances. So this is a little clip here, and it's about the aviation industry. And it just gives you an idea of some of the pioneers in that, and they were not all Caymanian. We had a lot of. I don't know whether the name Alan Parker rings a bell with you.
Wait, was he a pilot?
Well, he was one of the first to introduce air service here to Cayman, and Owen Roberts actually bought him out.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
The person who really, I think, and I, over the years have not really got any credit for it that I can remember, is Mr. Dalkeith Borden. And that's a whole story in itself.
Interesting. I've never heard his name associated with aviation.
Anyway, let's have the clip. I think Paul has got everything queued up here. So,
almost immediately after the war, a weekly seaplane service between Grand Cayman and Jamaica had been established, but this came to an end in June 1947 because of the poor condition of the planes. This weekly service was resumed a year later, but it was not until 1952 that an airfield on Grand Cayman was begun. When completed, in August 1953, it was named after Wing Commander Owen Roberts, a pioneer of air service in the Cayman Islands, who had been killed in an air crash when leaving Kingston for Grand Cayman a year earlier. With the opening of the runway, Roberts faced a new challenge, the interest of British West Indian Airways in competition with routes he had pioneered. He responded on two fronts, one by filing an objection with the British government, and two, he purchased 2 Lockheed Lodestars to provide quicker flights. But in the end, his efforts were in vain. On April 10, 1953, one of the Lodestars was taking off on its inaugural flight from Palisados to Grand Cayman when one of its engines failed, causing the plane to hit the sea 50 feet from shore and to sink in 30 feet of water. The crash claimed the lives of Wing Commander Owen Roberts and all others on board, except for one. The disaster brought to a close about 6 years of scheduled air service by Caribbean International Airways. The late Mr. Benny Ross worked closely with Wing Commander Owen Roberts.
We were told that those Lockheed Lodestars was no good at all on the one engine, but I didn't know at that time. And poor old, just imagine it was what? Remington Hobbs, which was Mr. Roberts' brother-in-law. Him and his sister came out alive, and his sister died. I think the old man lived. Mr. Roberts got killed.
We recall hearing it very shortly after it happened, because one of my cousins, Kathleen DaCosta, a very beautiful young lady she was on board. And having met on a previous flight Owen Roberts, Commander Owen Roberts, we were very, very sad to know that of the crash. And also we had met Captain Wilson. At that time, if I remember correctly, there were several passengers on board, some of whom I knew but can't remember their names at this time. But as I said, it was a catastrophe and a horrible, it was just a nightmare to all of us here, and of course relatives in Kingston.
Of the total 13 people that died in the accident, 6 were Caymanian, 5 of them from one West Bay family. Mrs. Elsa Rivers and her 2 infant children, Eloy and Elsa, her mother, Mrs. Elderia Ebanks, and her 11-year-old brother, Boston Ebanks. A surviving sister, Mrs. Garuda Jackson, remembers.
It's a day I'll never forget. It has taken a lot out of my life, I would have to say. My life has never been the same since. My mother, my little brother, just turned 11 years old. My sister, which was my second oldest sister, I really couldn't recall her age, but she was married and she had 2 little kids. The oldest one was just 2 in December of 52, and the little baby wouldn't have been 3 months until the 15th of April. This happened on the 10th of April.
Wow, some good history there. But I mean, I would have been just a baby at that time, 1953. But I remember hearing these stories as a kid.
Yeah,
people still talked about it.
Yes.
It was a significant thing.
Yes. Well, you know, let me see if how I can connect up there was I think 5 of them. There was a mother and her 2 of her children, and the older mother and her son, and they were all, you'd have probably heard of it because some of them was connected through the Parsons to your grandmother Deli.
Okay.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's the funny thing about that story is the people in Tampa, within the Caymanian community in Tampa, knew about the tragedy before we knew it out here.
Wow. That's
it when you look back at all these things, and I probably believe we got a narrative of that, just that element within just what you just heard. But Benny Ross, hopefully that he gets some recognition in this infrastructure thing, because he was deeply involved on many phases of establishing air service to Cayman. And
well, that really opened the door, did it, to the world?
Yes.
Because prior to that we had to depend on ships.
Yeah, it took you 10 days to come get from Tampa to Cayman, and 6 days from here to Isle of Pines, 200 miles.
And you mentioned Dalkeith Bodden.
Yeah.
What role did he play?
Okay, if I can put this in maybe 7 seconds. After the war, because he was in a war in England, he was over in England side.
Mm-hmm.
He was on his way home after the war, and actually he told a story, I think, and this is just an indication of the transportation problem or what you have getting from here. He spent, I think he said, 6 or 8 weeks in Jamaica. He got to Jamaica after the war, but he spent 6 or 8 weeks in Jamaica trying to get to Cayman. No, you think about it.
Yeah.
And while he was there, Alan Parker, because Alan Parker must have been a pretty astute entrepreneur, recognized that, hey, Cayman needed some air service. And he was in Jamaica trying to figure out what kind of, because he had no connection to Cayman, but he met Mr. Dalkeith, and he, I guess, told him who he was, and he was coming to Cayman. And about a couple of weeks after Dalkeith finally got home, Alan Parker shows up. And that really started stirring everything up. And, Alan Parker went around within the whole Cayman Islands and sold the idea. People bought shares, actually. Somewhere I came across one that my father bought some shares in, a couple of pounds, everybody put in. Yeah, and certificate of...
You found the old certificate?
Yeah. And a lot of people, especially the seafarers,
because they knew the importance of this air transport.
Yeah. And especially the ones that were sailing American ships, because they somehow had a little more back pocket money than the ones that were sailing with Swanee and Supply, and
Okay, we have to take a break, but we'll be right back.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN Money Transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Motorists are advised of road closures this weekend in Georgetown in preparation for National Heroes Day. From Friday, January 23rd at 6 p.m. through Monday, January 26th, sections of 4th Street, Edward Street, Cardinal Avenue, and Albert Panton Street will be closed to allow for the event setup. All affected roads will reopen following the celebratory events on Monday, January 26th.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. Loxley Banks is here with me, and we're talking about people who contributed to the development of Cayman in our earlier days, especially as far as the physical infrastructure is concerned, which is the focus of our Heroes Day celebration this year. So you have another cut for us here?
Yeah, we got a little thing here that deals with more of the, on the ground. We were in the air a while ago, so on the ground level. But just to touch on what you just heard in that other one, Wilson, who was the pilot of the plane, or co-pilot, I think, on that flight, because probably Roberts was the pilot, and there's a lot of stories about him here in Cayman, and someday maybe we'll get to some of them. But anyway, this next insert that we got, as I said, sort of deals with some of the stuff that was at ground level that was going on, and some of the names that hopefully they can't do it all in one sweep. Maybe this infrastructure thing ought to be extended again for next year and maybe the second year, because it's a story that needs to be told. Anyway, Paul, I know you can push the next button in and get it up.
A new era began with the arrival of Commissioner Alan Wolseley Cardinal on February 14, 1934. Cardinal's predecessor, Commissioner Weston, had been in poor health and was overtired, in contrast to the vigor and enthusiasm demonstrated by Cardinal. After taking the oath from Dr. G.N. Overton, the medical officer and acting commissioner, Cardinal told a gathering of people at the town hall in Georgetown that he hoped his stay would be a pleasant one and that he would be remembered long after his departure from the Cayman Islands. And he is indeed credited with bringing the Cayman Islands into the 20th century by laying the foundations for all subsequent development, and in fact predicting much of the progress that have since been achieved. His arrival in the aftermath of the 1932 hurricane and at the height of the international depression meant that all the economic odds were against him. Indeed, the United States in 1934 had even suggested that the Cayman Islands might be ceded to the United States to cancel Britain's war debt. But Cardinal, with great enthusiasm, threw his energy into the task of putting the Caymans properly on the map. For example, he campaigned for a radio link by opening a subscription list for the installation of a wireless transmitting station. As a result, the first wireless message was transmitted from Grand Cayman on March the 23rd, 1935, to end the long era of isolation. The facility was a joint venture of the governments of the Cayman Islands and Cuba. Its Caymanian wireless operator was the late Mr. Arthur Bodden of Georgetown. A year later, in 1936, a smaller station was operating in the Braddock, and by 1937, there were telephones in all public buildings in Grand Cayman, and as well in strategic private residences in the outer districts for public use.
I remember the old telephone that we had I was about 7 or 8. One was in our house, and that's 50-something years. And the rings were different length rings. It wasn't just one ring. We knew when you were calling East End or you were calling West Bay or North Side. North Side was 4 short, 2 long. Old Man Bay was 6 short, and Central was 1 long one. And the best thing of it all, we couldn't listen to each other's conversation. We could hear each other's rings, but we couldn't listen to each other's conversation. Even back then, it was some privacy.
To improve educational facilities and provide centers for community use in each district, Cardinal embarked on a program of building that is being described as truly remarkable, considering that the annual revenue of the islands was still under £10,000. For this project, the services of Captain Rail B. Bodden were sought, and he and Cardinal made a splendid partnership. Captain Rail's fame was identified with the construction of fine sailing schooners and the motor vessels Simboco and Lady Slater.
The first one was the sloop boat, built in 1912. The schooner F.A. Marie, built in 1915. The Atwood H. Carson, built in 1917. The radio, built in 1923. The L.M. Anderson, 1925. The Los Amigos, 1925. The motor vessel Simboco, 1927. The motor sailor Los Amigos, 1928. The motor sailor Scuba Fuego, 1929. The Lady Slater, 1931. And 2 Mines Fever, 1945.
It was under Captain Rail Bodden's direction that Elmsley Memorial Church had also been built, and in keeping with the initiative of Commissioner Cardinal, up went the post office and public library in Georgetown, and the town halls in West Bay, Boddentown, East End, and Northside. All were constructed in concrete blocks, which proved to be cheap and durable. The town halls were, for a long time to come, to be used as schools. Captain Rail Budden, when he was 80 years of age in 1975, discussed with me the first ever use of concrete blocks as building material in Grand Cayman.
Well, I didn't know one thing about cement those days. I went to work and I never did do anything by gas. I wrote the Portland Cement Association for all particulars, how to mix the cement, the mixture, and then I ordered hand block making machines and made a different kind of blocks we wanted and went to work and built it.
The most outstanding contribution of the Presbyterian Church in the Cayman Islands was to lay the foundations of elementary education, but schooling early in the 20th century still had little to do with what you could learn. It was how much you could earn. School was a luxury and remained so up until 1916, when Dr. Roy McTaggart became a member of the Justices in Westray. During his term as a legislator, he, along with Mr. Goring, introduced a bill which made education compulsory in the Cayman Islands. As a result, public schools became a reality in 1922, and since then, the educational process has steadily moved forward. An icon of the teaching profession in the Cayman Islands before and after construction of the new district town halls was the late Mr. Lee Ebanks, whose teaching career began immediately after his graduation from Calabar College in Jamaica.
Well, my first job.
Well, because of time constraints, we couldn't really get any more in, but that's a whole, beautiful story in itself. And you heard Mr. Lee's voice just at the beginning. You got any idea what his first job was?
A teacher?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him as a teacher, or knowing of him as a teacher.
Yeah.
Because he moved on to a lot of different things.
Well, yeah, he was just about everything that government was involved in. He was just about involved in all the aspects. Yeah. But he started out teaching.
Yeah. Commissioner Cardinal, he was a real builder, wasn't he? I mean, he loved to build things.
Yeah, and the narration there was by Doran Doran Miller,
right,
former deputy director, and he all this stuff we had to research. We had to pick it all up, and the program that I referred that some of this stuff is excerpt from was the 5-hour program that we put together in early part of 1999, because with all the hoopla of the rollover and all this stuff, I called Doran up, and Doran had retired and he was having some health problems, so he was in Canada, and we discussed it. I said, a lot of this stuff nobody knows anything about. We got to dig it up. And anyway, I convinced him to come down and help produce this program. That in itself was an epic job. And hopefully I was just able to, within the last 6 months, digitalize the whole program. So someday, somebody...
It's preserved.
Yeah, that we will be able to sort of serialize it in different sections, because there's so much that went on between in the middle part of the 17th century and 1999, and it is all encapsulated there in some kind of narrative form.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Rail is going to be at the top of the list for this Heroes Day.
Well, you would hope so. You would hope so. You would hope so. And not only Mr. Rail, but, the Archies. I mean, that was the big industry in Cayman. And, thinking about the whole infrastructure envelope, I think an idea should have been that you got to recognize the turtle somewhere along in this envelope. And I don't know whether it'll be done or not, but, I guess we'll all get an idea on Monday.
But before we have to close this out and go to the news, any other names that come to your mind that you would hope would be in there?
Well, I would hope fully that maybe Miss Beulah Smith, who was very instrumental in the and Miss Genevieve Bawden and Mr. Pastor Gerald Smith from Northside. I mean, he told stories of when they put in the Frank Sound leg, you know, the road that goes
The
across.
road, yeah.
And I think we have some narrative on that somewhere, that of the job that they were doing to because that was all swamp and cliff, and all they had was pickaxes and crowbars. There was no heavy equipment of any kind, and so they had to hew that hole, and it's a long stretch, you know, from Frankstown on.
Yeah, well, road building was an important thing.
Yeah, well, you know,
I'm going to go down there Monday morning to pick up an award from my grandfather, John Samuel Smith.
Yeah.
Who supervised the building of roads in West Bay.
Right. Yeah, and not only that, he operated the first dump truck in West Bay.
Yeah.
And
the trucking service.
Yeah, trucking service, and he was a JP, and even people like this. I don't know how much you know about him, but he worked in the States for a long time.
Oh yeah,
he worked
on Flagler Railroad.
Yes, and I think he was out there on the Davis Island project, and I think he was because he was up on the the Hollower Beach, big Hollower Beach, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and a little further up the way, and this was Miami.
Had a lot of fun at Holliver Beach when I grew up in Miami.
Yeah, I spent a couple of nights out there myself. But further up the way, Golden Beach, I think.
Golden Beach.
Yeah, they were pumping all that stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Prentice, who was up there on the same job that my father was on, he could tell me more when I came home about Golden Beach, and I knew that, and he was just, it's such a, Cayman has such a historical bedrock that,
Well, Loxley, thank you for going into the archives and taking us back in time, making us remember the people who, contributed to making Cayman what it is. Without them, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I mentioned your grandfather, Johnny. He hired me one time to help get a load of sand off the beach.
Yeah.
And big baskets.
Yeah.
Paid me 3 and 6.
3 and 6, okay. All right, Loxley. You take care. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Joe.
Time to check in with the newsroom.
Information, entertainment, inspiration.
Covering Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Brac.
Since 1976 till now.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
A 24-year-old woman has now been charged with causing death by dangerous driving and driving a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol and causing a death after a 22-year-old cyclist was killed in a crash in 2024. In a separate case, a 47-year-old has been charged in the death of another cyclist on Frank Sound Road back in March 2023. Both suspects have been granted bail. In international news, United States forward Trinity Rodman has become the world's highest-paid female footballer after signing a 3-year deal with Washington Spirit. The 23-year-old daughter of former NBA star Dennis Rodman has been a free agent since her previous deal with the Spirit expired in December 31st. But her new deal, worth a reported $2 million a year, including bonuses, will keep Rodman with Spirit until 2028. And Brooklyn Peltz Beckham's wedding DJ has given his account of what happened during what he described as a, quote, awkward dance between the groom and his mother, Victoria. On Monday, Brooklyn almost broke the internet by posting a series of claims about his famous parents, Sir David and Lady Beckham, including that his mother hijacked his first dance with actress and hedge fund heiress Nicola Peltz. He claimed his mom, formerly one of the Spice Girls, had, quote, danced very inappropriately on me in front of everyone, leaving him feeling uncomfortable and humiliated. DJ Fat Tony said the whole situation was, quote, really awkward for everyone in the room. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
Welcome back. Quick look at the weather here. It's 83 degrees in Georgetown. It feels like 90. And the wind out of the east-northeast at about 9 knots. And the forecast is calling for partly cloudy skies, continuing straight through tonight. And the forecast is calling for northeast winds at 5 to 10 knots with seas slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Well, Cayman In Style Fashion Week is coming up later on this year down in April, and we're going to hear about that. And if you like to model, keep an ear open, because here to tell us all about that is the founder and director of Cayman In Style, Norma Ebanks, our fashion icon in Cayman. And with her is Dale Ebanks. Folks, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today. How are you all doing?
Good afternoon.
Well.
Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
How long have you been doing the Fashion Week in Cayman?
It's going to be our 5th year.
How has it changed over those 5 years?
It has changed a lot, because we are, over the last 5 years, we're global now.
Global?
Yeah,
okay.
We're global now. And this year is a testament of that. Because this year we're having still 4 days, but we're having our first global summit this year. And the theme is fashion, art, and wellness.
And Dale, what is your role in this?
Well, I'm a director as well, and I'm in charge of all the production, basically, and the finances.
So you say you've gone global. Elaborate on that. Tell me a little bit about that expansion.
Well, over the years, we have taken models to Milan, Paris, Miami, New York, and this year we took a designer to New York. I took Al Ebanks with me to New York Fashion Week in September, and wow, the outpour was amazing. And now I have global asking me about Cayman designers to bring along with me in the future. So coming up like in September, we are going to Dubai. We have Dubai now on the list. So we have Dubai, Paris, Milan, and New York coming up in September.
So you're looking for models?
And designers.
And designers?
And designers.
Okay. So what do you look for in a model?
So what we look for in a model, well, I have a model agency in Cayman now. So what we look for as a model is people that is brave, think they want a career in modeling. And if you're not brave, it's still okay because we train you. And we're looking for kids teen, and adult. And our kids teen is from 5 to 12, from 12 to 17. And this year we have adult from 18 to 65.
You cover all ages.
All ages, all ages, all ages.
Because everybody wears clothes, right?
Because everybody wears clothes. Everybody wears clothes. So we're not in the age now of, okay, it's only size 2, that model. We have menswear, women wear, shoes wear, plus size wear. So we're trying to make a difference in the industry.
Now, when you say they should be brave, and to face what?
To face the world, face the stage, because when it's not only modeling, we not only do runway, we soon to be cast for magazine, We just have a huge photo shoot. H&M did their photo shoot. We had a contract with H&M last year to do their photo shoot for their launch of their spring summer line last year. And we used so much of our model here in the contract. So we do photo shoot, we do magazine. We have our magazine coming up in April. So we also own a model. We do also own our own magazine. So we're not
very busy.
Yeah, because once you're in the industry, is what next?
Yeah.
Is what next in it to do? Yeah. And that's what we're trying to do in the Cayman Islands, is not only to say, okay, we want model, we want designers, but to educate them of what they're getting, what it takes to be a model.
Yeah. And that education is important.
And that education is important. And tomorrow is our launch of our model casting. So tomorrow, Sunday and Monday, we're calling all age for our modeling casting, and it's going to be at Kingsport Center. Tomorrow we have Kingston 5 to 12, and then Sunday we have 12 to 17 and 17 to 65, and then Monday we have 12 to 17 and 17 to 65.
Dale, can you tell us a little bit about what's going to happen over the weekend?
So, first of all potential models need to have a comp card. That is important.
What is that?
A comp card is a
collage
of their pictures as well as their measurements, right? And we are asking all potential models to come dressed in black. It's easier to cast dressed in black.
So everybody's hearts are on a level.
Correct. Yes. Right. And we will also take your measurements, look at your comp card. We will also take a headshot. And we do give them numbers and stuff like that. So it will be easy to see who we selected. Because there are certain criteria that especially international designers, look for. So we have to send those comp cards to the international designers for them to choose who they want to model their line.
Will they have to demonstrate that they know how to handle themselves?
We train them.
Once you will train them?
Yes, once we select them, then we have a trainer that comes in and trains them.
Okay, so really no prior experience?
No, you don't.
You don't have to have prior experience.
Preferably if you do, but you don't. You don't have to have it.
And where is this going to be?
At the Kingsport Center. We have it at the Kingsport Center every year for the last 5 years.
So this is actually this audition that you're having it's through your agency, your modeling agency.
Through through CIFWK, which is Cayman In Style Fashion Week, and the model agency. We also have the model agency part of it.
So being accepted into this leads people into a professional career.
Yes, that's where we are, and I'm a testament of that. So far we bring over 25 models over the last 3 years in global with us. In September we bring like 9.
Yeah.
February of last year we bring I think another 10, and we try to bring them 2 to 3 times per year global out of Cayman.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the developments with the people who have previously been accepted by your agency? What have they been up to?
They've been up to a lot. We have model who get cast into bigger agency. We have model who is the movie. We just had a movie premiere in February,
and
which we have models in it.
Yeah, we have one.
We have one models in it.
Yeah.
We have models who enter into a couple magazines. Well.
Okay.
So it's been good so far.
So what advice would you give to first-time models who might be thinking of coming out over the weekend to try out?
Don't be nervous. Just come and act yourself.
Just be brave.
Just be brave and act yourself.
Just be brave. Come all down and make sure you wear black. And why we say black, because then black, I see you. I really see you in the black, your figure, everything about it. And why we say black, when we send these to the designers, they want to see who they're dressing. So if you come in baggy clothes, then I can't see who am I dressing. So you wear as fitted clothes as possible, and you walk with a cam card. And again, a cam card is a collage of pictures that represent you. And on it is everything about you. Your age, not your age, your height, your social media platform, and your email. And that's a must. Your cam card is a must.
You can't do anything without that.
No, you cannot do any, because once you enter the room, even if I give you a number and say you're number one and you leave, who did I give number one to? I want to know who is number one, who is number two. So when we go to cast or email it to say you're accepted, we know exactly who we just pass for our next Cayman in Style Fashion.
So is this something that they can put together between now?
Yes.
And
yeah,
the
they
weekend?
Can put it together.
Give us a little advice on how to do that.
A headshot. Make sure you have a headshot, a straight picture, like you stand front way, straight picture. Maybe you have a fitted dress, a gown, something you have that say, okay, then I do best in swimwear. People like to show their legs. So if you think your leg is your best physique, that's fine. If you think your arm is your best physique, that's okay. If you think your waist is your best physique, if you're showing off your height, oh my God, I'm tall, I want to do this for the longest while, that's okay. But let me see your cam card. When you leave the room, I want to see the face and the figure of who I just selected.
Okay, on that note, we have to take a break, but we'll be right back and we'll hear more about this call for models.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and with me are Norma Ebanks, Dale Ebanks of Cayman in Style. You were telling me during the break that you really need males.
Yeah, we are in desperation for male models. So if you're a male, I mean preferably 5'7" to 6'2", preferably 5'7" to 6'2".
So that's like the sweet spot for male models.
For male models. Yeah.
So, do you have any reasons why you're not having more men come out?
Well, Cayman is small, and we don't remember Cayman Islands Fashion Week is only 5 years. So I realize I have to start educating, the public to what we do. And you'll be shocked to know men are not that brave like the woman. When you find a male model, he's brave. Give him credit. And it's not like you don't have males out there who want to come out, but I am here to tell you, come and see me. If you think you want to do it, come and see me.
Yeah, it does take something extra to get out there on the runway and strut your stuff.
Yeah, just do something extra, And we have some very, very handsome, looking a male. I'm walking on the road and I'm like, yes, Dale. I'm like, oh my God, I would love you to be on my runway. So, even walking around, visiting the gyms, I see a lot of potentials.
But you have to be fit to be a
Yes,
male model?
you have to be fit. I mean, because when I say fit, I mean be bold, be confident in yourself. So be confident in yourself doesn't mean you have to be body lifting or, muscular. No, because you're not doing swimsuit that I'm showing your legs and, but be brave, be brave.
Yeah, it's all up
It's
here.
all up here, be brave.
Yeah. Now, you were telling me that you had partnered with,
Protect Our Future.
What is that?
Protect Our Future is an NPO which they have deals with sustainability and climate change. There are young teens, young adults that have come together as a group, and they have formed this NPO. It's a youth-led movement focused on climate action, sustainability education. They do policy advocacy and community engagement.
So what are you going to be doing with them?
We partner with them because one of our team is the youth. And I also own Creative Fashion School, which I teach. Well, it's not youth alone, but this year my mission is to get more young people, more young youth from age 5 to 18 to get back into the old textile fashion world. You remember, well, I'm not that old, you're much older than me, but growing up, textile was a must.
In school?
In school.
Yeah.
Was a must in school. And that's something I'm trying to instill in our young people from the age of 4 or 5. We have after school program, and our after school program is from 5 to 17. And today we have 11 after school kids on board. And the evening class this year, January, we have over 24 adults on board with our class. So because of that now, I am very youth-driven. So we decided to make a difference in the community. And when I decided to partner with a next NPO away from Creative Fashion School, I think about what best. And that was why we choose them, because they're youth, they're out there doing their thing, and I love what they stand for. So instead of me go to a big NPO, I said, you know what? Let me partner with them and see how I can help them drive the message more out there to get more youths on board.
Give people interested in this an idea of if they are accepted. Give us an idea of the training that they will do.
Okay, so if they come out this weekend and they are accepted, the weekend of the 18th, we have our workshop.
18th
so we
of
have
February.
18th of February. No, 18th is the holiday. That is the weekend of the 18th, which is the Saturday, Sunday. We're gonna have our workshop. So they will get an email that you're selected, and it's a must. You have to do the workshop. So the workshop, now we have a trainer, and a lot of people know Alva
Page.
Alva Page. He's been coming with us. He's been with us for the last 4 years. So Alva Page will be our trainer this year. And we also have Justin Edlam, who is doing confidence and camera training for our models that weekend.
So anyone coming to these auditions, they have to be serious about this.
They have to be serious about this.
So let's go through the times again for this weekend. Because I know you have it all broken down into age groups and the times.
So it starts tomorrow at King Sports Center. We have age 5 to 12, and that's from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And that's the 24th. And on the 25th, we have teen from 13 to 17, and that's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And on the 26th, we have adult, and from 18 to 65, and that's 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And on the 26th, from 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m.
And they will be participating in your show
in our
April?
4-day show in April, and we have over 18 to 20 designers coming in from all over the world.
And they're also invited to see the summit, which we have about 10 to 12 countries, different countries
coming in
that are coming in for the summit.
So they're coming to Cayman?
Yes,
for the summit.
For the summit. We have, I'll give you a couple of them. We have Seychelles coming. We have Dubai coming. We have Trinidad, Jamaica, St. Kitts, Dominica, Colombia, Trinidad.
Just to name
a few. And they are coming for the summit itself.
So what happens at this summit?
So at the summit, the theme is fashion, art, and wellness. So we're gonna have panelists to talk about the different topic in those areas, and our guest speaker will be the fashion council from Dubai.
Yes.
And we'll maybe come on again to talk more about that.
You mentioned Dubai quite a few times here. Is Dubai a big fashion center now?
I think what happened is Norma went to the Fashion Federation in Russia. And that's where she ended up into this global fashion federation, which she is probably more than likely going to be the Federation Council for the Caribbean. They've asked her to do that already, so that probably will come to fruition later on this year.
So I have the opportunity to go to the BRICS Fashion Summit, which I was a speaker there and a lecturer in the college.
Yeah.
So this year we're bringing it to the Cayman Islands.
So as far as Cayman is concerned, just general fashion talk, what's the fashion in Cayman? What's the thing now?
So the fashion in Cayman, it's okay. So why I'm bringing it to Cayman? Because I am the owner of Cayman Islands Fashion Week. So when we talk about fashion, Cayman is not really on the map in fashion. So that's why I am trying to put Cayman on the map in fashion. So when people come into the Cayman Islands Fashion Week, they can think global, like they're going to London, New York, Milan, or so I'm trying to make it be a tourist destination, an event, that yearly event that people can come in, relax, and enjoy it.
Well, I was talking about more what kind of trends you see in Cayman.
Cayman trends right now is just ready to wear.
Ready to wear.
Yeah.
But there's so much more that can happen for Cayman. I mean, if you check out other Caribbean islands that are into fashion, there's so much different things that there are so many different trends, right? And that is what we're trying to bring Cayman in awareness of, trying to get them more globalized. There's just so much more to ready wear than what they're accustomed to here. So it's education.
And not only that, we have a lot of boutiques here, a lot of boutiques that go overseas and buy. So we're bringing designers in, and we're also inviting like different boutiques so they can come in and see if they can actually order stuff from these designers instead of go out and source it elsewhere.
Yeah. But I mean, as small as Cayman is, we know we got people here with some good cash. And here we have you, a talented designer. Do you get clients locally that come to you and want you to design something for them?
A lot. Yeah. I've been in this business for 24 years, at the same spot for 24 years. This is my life. This is what I do. And yes, and good client
I'm glad
too.
to hear that.
And if a lot of people know me, Miss Norma, I consider myself the best on the island. I am the best.
Well, you know, you would only think that way.
No, because I'm told. And my work represent that. My work represent that. So saying that to say is that when it come on to being a fashion designer in Cayman, I not only talk it, I do it.
What kind of things do you design? What kind of themes do you get from people in a Caribbean island?
Well, I'm blessed. I'm blessed not only to be a designer, but also a manufacturer.
Yeah.
So I not only design it, I make it.
I mean, those personal clients, those people who come to you and say, I want something, I'm going to this party, I want to knock them off my feet.
Okay.
What are you going to come up with for me?
All right. So, for example, I just finished prom. So we have prom. We have a lot of Christmas party. I was so busy that, my hours was not going home. So for me, I find that a lot of people come to me because they want that special outfit. They want that special outfit. They don't want to come to me to get an altar.
They don't want
anybody
else.
They don't want anybody else
to have that.
And I must say, on a different topic, I must say I've been in the community as a business person, and I must give thanks, and a shout out to all my clients who support me over the years.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad people are there, using your services to have a talented person such as yourself, because I know wherever fashion comes up in Cayman, your name is there.
Yeah, and not only Cayman, I also do global.
Yeah.
I do global where people order and I ship them off. So I not only do Cayman.
Okay, so the place to be is King's...
So the place to be is King Sports Center, the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th. It's a long weekend.
Starting at 10 a.m.
Starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Okay, Norma Ebanks and Dale Ebanks, thank you so much for joining me here on Talk Today.
Thank you for having us.
You have a great turnout.
Yeah, and go on to www.caymaninstylefashionweek.com, or you can call 928-0344.
All righty. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for Talk Today. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Charles Glidden. One love.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.